Hey everyone, it's Mitch and Nick here on the Nick and Mitch YouTube channel.
Yeah, we just found out that Steep is going to be dropping some new DLC coming up next month based entirely around the X Games.
Yeah, they released this video on September 20th, and it was just a short 30-second teaser trailer, but it showed us enough to be excited for this game. Let's play that video.
All right.
Okay, Mitch, right out of the gate, what do you see that you like?
Well, obviously I love the X Games because it's just like the Olympics DLC, which was our favorite, going back to the Tartiflette games. So you get our favorite competition coming back with slopestyle and looks like a much different course.
Now, the X Games Pass will be available for purchase on October 30th, and we're not going to be seeing a new massif or a new mountain in this DLC, but we will be getting a new section of the Alaska Massif, which is going to be the X Games Village, where players can compete to win gold in the game's most epic snow park to date.
Yeah, they're bringing back 3 of the events from the Olympics DLC. They have the Big Air competition, Super Pipe, which is the half pipe, and a slopestyle course. And they also said after you complete those special events that there will be additional freestyle challenges to unlock where you can compete against some of the other players.
What are your thoughts on how this thing looks? Because to me, this looks a whole lot like the Olympics DLC and the Olympics half pipe.
It's got that same feeling with the crowds kind of set up and the kind of base at the bottom, the finish line. But looking at the half pipe shot they show, actually, just notice this. They have fans going all the way down the half pipe this time. So just like the X Games, there's a crowd lining the half pipe from top to bottom, which wasn't in the Olympics. And who knows what else they might add. Maybe that height meter that they usually have during the X Games. I mean, I would love to see that. I don't think that'll be in there, but you know, those extra little features at the X Games, they kind of take themselves a little more lightly than the Olympics, where Olympics are very strict and down to the competition, and then you see the X Games with some of the wild athletes going out and just having a great time. They haven't shown too much of this X Games DLC off yet, but hopefully within the coming weeks, we will both be getting some hands-on time with parts of this X Games DLC, and we'll be able to share some video, show you guys what is going to be in the game. If you have any questions or just want to discuss what you might think will be in there, let us know down in the comments and we'll get back to you.
So, when you're going to purchase the X Games Pass, you're not just getting that one DLC for $15. You're also going to be getting the 90s DLC, which will be released in December. It gives an old school vibe to the game with special filters that are supposed to make Steep look like a 90s themed winter sports game. And Mitch, I know that you were excited. I know that you like to watch the X Games and old videos from the X Games. What are your thoughts on the 90s DLC?
I'm really excited for the 90s DLC because these extreme competitions started back in the 90s, where they have the crazy video filters. You have some amateur video makers and those local skateboarders going out, transitioning over to snowboard, funky music, and also those crazy fonts that we might get to see as well.
I'm super excited for some awesome 90s music. I really hope they go all out with this filter. We'll also be seeing the Rocket Wings DLC, which will be released in early January of 2019, and you'll be able to soar once again on new challenges through the snowy skies at the breakneck speeds that rocket wingsuit gives you, and you'll be able to, there's just going to be a myriad of new challenges with the rocket wingsuits.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy each of those individually too if you want to, so you don't have to get the full $15 X Games Pass. You can just get the 90s DLC or just get the Rocket Wings DLC if you really just like those speed timed events. They also announced that they'll have a Steep X Games Gold Edition coming out, which will be $40, and that'll include Steep, the X Games Pass, so the X Games, the 90s DLC, the Rocket Wings DLC, and it'll also include the Season Pass from year 1, so the Extreme Pack with the new sports, the Winterfest challenges, and the Adrenaline Pack that came out. So you'll be able to jump into the full game at that point if you want to as well. That won't include the Olympics DLC that came out back in February, but That probably has to do with one being sponsored by the Olympics and one being sponsored by the X Games. So there's both an Olympics Gold Edition and an X Games Gold Edition.
So this gives you an opportunity to pick and choose which one that you would see yourself playing more. And there appear to be some very similar similarities between these two DLCs, but I think they are ultimately going to feel and look completely different from one another. So once again, Ubisoft announced the X Games are coming to Steep on October 30th. On October 30th, you will be able to purchase the X Games Pass for $15, and it will be available on PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 Pro will actually have some enhanced features. We're going to try to get some answers on what those will be. And of course, the Xbox family and Windows PC will also be receiving this DLC. Thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it. If not, just come back when we post a new video. We'll talk to you soon with more information about the X Games in Steep.